Test, test, test. Okay.
Mic test, test, test. True Mountain Temple, can you hear us? Way Mountain Temple, can you hear us? And Jewel Kong? Intertemple.
Yes, JC can hear you.
Thank you. Can Way Mountain Temple hear us?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you.
The thing is that Way Mountain was server muted. Was there a reason for that?
Server muted.
I just unmute also I just unmute Way Mountains. So, but earlier was muted.
So right now, are they? Yeah, Venerable Shenjit said it was on purpose yesterday, but it should be fine today.
Should be okay to unmute, right?
Master, we're ready.
Okay, let's get going then. Hello everyone, good evening. Right now it's evening here in the US, but it's about 11 in Seoul, in Korea right now. So we're glad to have some of our Korean participants join us in this talk here. What do you do for lunch? You eat later? You ate already? Okay. Ate already? Okay, it's nice to have all of you participate in this thing here. First of all, this is our full day of the Buddha Recitation Week here at Dharma Treasury. I'm very happy that you're here and participating. What struck me today is that you can really chant. That's pretty good. You really chant. You chant better than I anticipated. Considering that many of you are new here, but also the fact that the sound carries pretty well in Dharma Treasury. It seems like it's perfect for recitation when you think about it. Way Mountain Temple, the sound is it gets lost because it's too vast and so forth. But here, you sound pretty good, almost as good as the Koreans in Jewel Mountain when we did the Fo Chi a couple of weeks ago. The Koreans can really chant, believe it or not. They love to chant. And what's amazing over there is that the first time we did a Fo Chi over there, and they chanted better than our Sangha. Yes way. I was so embarrassed, but the Koreans are so polite. They never made any comment and let it out at all. And they just simply chanted better. It's they really gifted. It's like they suited for the recitation. Dharma door. It's pretty impressive. Anyway, so how was, give us some feedback. How was your first full day today? Okay. All right. As I was sitting there and thinking about what to talk to you, I remember how it was in my time. I joined my master's temples in the United States at late. So by the time I became a left-form person, he died already. And so even though we have a full schedule of training begins at 4 in the morning for morning ceremony, and it ends at around 9 o'clock at night, the evening lecture. So for 4 years, I listened to a lot of his lectures, and I really treasured his lectures. This is why you can. I hope you too will pick up a lot of good stuff from his lectures. His Dharma is really, really profound. It is beyond. It transcends national boundaries, races, time, and so forth. Okay. And I got a lot out of it looking back. So listening to the great sages' teachings is a real blessing. And I really appreciated the fact that I was able to do that for 4 years, for over 4 good years. And what was disappointing for me was that my elders would not be able to answer questions I had, because when you cultivate, you're going to have questions. And the Dharma is not a general thing at all. The Dharma is individually custom tailored for you. So even though, for example, when we listen to Master Xuanhua's instructions here during this Fo Qi and during the Chan Qi, it is general instruction, but we must be able to interpret it for you, for your personal situation. And so that's what I'm trying to do, as long as I still have the strength and the clarity of mind to do that. I tell you, example, it's a lot harder than it sounds. For example, this past week here, a week ago, I came back and I was able to then pick up exercises, my regular exercises again, because sometimes when you exercise, you're too tired, so you don't quite, your mind is not as clear anymore, and therefore you can't really answer questions anymore. So I was able to pick up my exercise schedule, and since I was able to do a lot of stuff, like after a long time of not being able to do it properly, I was eager to do all kinds of things. At the end of the thing, I did a deadlift. You know what a deadlift is? Huh? Yes. You put a lot of weight, and then you squat down and you pull it up, okay? You stand up with your feet. Is that the same thing? That remains a secret. Stay secret. Yes, ma'am. See, all of a sudden, people are interested about Master's bench press number. Yes, 2.
A Di Đà Phật.
2. There you go.
A Di Đà Phật. Dạ thưa thầy, since thầy talk about exercise, thầy có 2 cái bike ở phía bên kia. Can we share one over here, please?
The what?
Cái exercise bike đó thầy.
Exercise bike?
Yes.
Absolutely. You can feel free to come over and pick it
No,
up.
can we share one here, please?
Where would you like to put it?
In the dining hall.
Dining hall?
Yeah.
Sure. Why not? What do you think?
It's a big dining
It would be fun to look at them all puffing and huffing. The reason we put it over there is because when I do it, then no one can see how pathetic I look.
We don't mind, thầy.
Sure. If per request, we can bring the bike, and there's some Nordic bikes and treadmill and stuff that we picked up recently. Okay, maybe it's meant for you because we pick it up from a person for free. So anyway, hey, can we do that? Can you give them some bikes, please? Okay, some exercise equipment. I'm sure we can yield to them for a while.
Yes, Master, we can bring some over here.
Okay, very good. Yeah, okay. Sure, we'll be glad to do it. Okay, after. Any other questions? Oh yeah, questions here. So many questions already, and I usually need to wait for half an hour to warm you up. Gossiping always works. Go ahead, Conk. Can you exercise in the Pure Land? Yes, you can.
It's not my question. This is question from Venerable XA. It's today her radio interview topic.
Yes.
탐하는 마음은 본래 타고나는 것일까요? 아니면 살다 보니 생기는 걸까요?
Greedy mind is inherent, or is it appear while we are living?
Could you crank it up a little bit, please? One more time.
We have a greedy mind. Is it inherent, or is it appear while we are living?
Is it inherent or is it?
Is it appear just while we are living? We just developed our greedy mind while we are living, or is it just
Okay,
naturally?
question from a radio listener in Korea. Okay. the world where we live is called desire realm. Okay, in the Sao world, there are 3 realms: the desire realm, the form realm, and the formless realm. The non-Buddhist practitioners, they can practice. They have their own practices, such as Catholicism, Taoism, Hinduism, yoga, Qigong, and so forth. And when they practice these spiritual practices, they'll be able to reach up to the top of the 3 realms, meaning the top of the formless realm, which is called 8th samadhi. That's for your reference. Okay, and people who don't practice, they reside in the desire realm. So that it's called desire realm because you have a lot of desires. You live in this realm. You have all sorts of desires. Okay, desires for in Buddhism, we can give you 5 different kinds of general classes of desires. Desires for food. Think about it. We want, I went to Korea, and after a month full of eating Korean food, great Korean food, and although they made sure that I had bread every day and cheese as well, okay, they're very considerate. I really encourage you to go there for a visit. They really treat you well, okay, very hospitable. But after 5 weeks, and especially after the Fochi, I certainly have a craving for hamburgers. So that's an example of a desire for food for you. We desire all sorts of food, yes? Okay, so that's one of the 5 desires. And then another type of desire, of course, and I went out, and of course, there's no vegetarian burgers in Cheongju, okay, where Chu Mountain was. And so we ended up going to a Asian hamburger, and we had Asian hamburger with a meat patty with onion in the meat patty. So having eaten in 5 weeks with pure food, that it was a shock to eat some onion. It was really, really shocking. So cut off my desire for hamburgers immediately. So anyway, so you have desire for food, desire for fame, desire for sex, desire for wealth, and desire for sleep. Okay, so those are the 5 general classes of desires. It's because of where we live. In this desire realm, it's normal to have desires. We came here, we born in this desire realm, we stay in this desire realm, whether you're down here in the human realm or you are up there in the desire realm heavens. The desire realm has 6 desire heavens. So as long as you're in this desire realm, and you're born here, you're wired to have desires. Okay? You come here, even if you're not born here, and you come here, you also have desires because of the nature of the environment. Okay? You're influenced by others. So it's a nature of your existence in the desire realm. No matter what, your Buddha nature is free from desires. So that's why for us to be able to live in the desire realm is ideal for the practice. Because of these it's more difficult to practice. But if you know how to practice, you know how to be taught, then and you know how to train properly, then you can free yourself from desires. And after you free yourself from desires, meaning you rise, cultivation is rising through. Like you recite the Buddha's name, you will build your samadhi power. Okay, you rise through. So when you enter the first dhyana, you rise to the form realm. Then you lessen your desires. You're immune to certain desires. Go to second dhyana, you're even less prone to having desires and so forth. As you rise through the ranks up to the top, you have fewer and fewer desires. Okay? Until you reach fourth stage arhatship, then you can put an end to your desires. You have control over your desires. You have a desire for, I don't know, for cryptocurrency. I don't know why would you want to have one cryptocurrency. Anyway, you can put an end to it immediately. Yeah, so you have a choice. So cultivation is about developing the ability to control your destiny and put the end to the desire if you choose to. Or if you choose not to, you can indulge in hamburgers with onion. And then you try and you say, what's the big deal here? So then it reinforces your knowledge that, it's really not a big deal. So that makes life more fun, if you will. Life is not you're not supposed to live like a monk. Oh, wait a minute. I take it back. Okay? So I hope it helps with the answer to the question. Go ahead, you too.
From Alex, Emitofuo Master.
Hello.
I have heard it is important to avoid a dull mind when reciting. What does it mean to recite with a clear mind? To clarify, when I recite, sometimes my eyesight go out of focus and I am not present in the physical moment. Is that reciting with a dull mind?
When you recite, Alex, you go through all sorts of states. Okay, that's called a state. When you recite, whether it's a dull mind or clear mind, they're all states. All right? And it's a natural process of recitation. You don't need to understand every single thing. Part of the process is for you just to recite, and you're training just to follow instructions and just recite. And whatever happens, you bear with it and you continue to recite. That's what the process is about. It's not about understanding. Understanding right now at your level really is not that big of a deal. Okay? So don't try to understand so much. Part of the fun is that you're doing the recitation, and which is not something you normally do. So do it as you do it. It's a new skill. You develop different states, and you just make a note of them until you have problems. And if you have no problems, no need to understand everything. Just make a note of it. That's part of your discovery. And eventually, if you understand, fine. You don't understand, it's fine too. Just don't try so hard to understand everything, Alex, and justify everything. If we justify everything, you may understand it right now, but when you get to higher levels, it doesn't matter anyway. Okay? So it's okay. Don't worry. You just continue to recite. As long as you recite, that's fine. Whatever state of mind is fine. Okay, it will change. Okay, question from Chu Mountain. Yes.
헬로 마스터. 우선 먼저 한국에 계실 때 코리안 버전의 씩씩버거를 사드리고 싶었는데 기회가 없었어요. 마음만 받아주세요. 상욱씨 먼저 여기까지 해주세요.
Sir, while you are in Korea, I would like to buy you some Shake burger, Korean version Shake burger, but I didn't have a chance.
Oh, yeah.
Please accept my mind.
We didn't get the chance to try the Shake Shack, not Shake Shake. Shake Shack? You don't know Shake Shack? Oh my goodness. Okay. But thank you. Yes, we didn't make it. There's none in the Cheongju area, in the boonies. Yeah. You do have a question.
욕계의 다른 네, 예스 마스터. 퀘스천입니다. 깨닫고 싶다는 욕망도 욕계의 다른 식욕이나 명예욕과 같은 종류의 욕망이나 탐심인지 질문드립니다.
The desire to enlightenment, is it the same kind of desire like sleep or food?
Yes, it's just another desire. And however, it's considered a good desire. Okay? It's called using poison to deal with poison, to treat poison. Because you have so many desires, thought desires, so it's more helpful because you're so used to operating under desire that we give you a special desire, special set of desires to help you dominate the other desires. Remember, we have countless desires, and therefore, how you deal with them? You deal with them in our world by desiring the desirable things and dropping the undesirable ones, if you will. Okay, so that's the geniuses of the training. That's why, for example, for people in the West, like Alex, educated in the West, they want to understand this and understand that. It's reasonable. However, they don't understand. They don't need to understand too much because there is a program. There is a number objective. It's asking you to do certain things. And it's best we don't tell you. It's best you don't understand. You just have to develop the faith that it's okay, and the faith is not unfounded. The reason Alec has been sticking around is because he got some results. He improved, and he got better, and his son got better, and the family, got some responses. So those are good enough for you at this stage. Now, the wisdom is not quite there yet, so understanding is overrated. You don't really no need to understand, okay, until you have enough wisdom. Then we tell you the truth. We tell you things that you're able to understand, you're able to handle. Right now, what we tell you is just temporary knowledge, temporary things that are designed to encourage you to march forward, not get stuck. For example, when we teach you Chan and we teach you Pure Land, we refrain from selling to you, for example. We have so many responses, there's so many wonderful things that happen to you, and we don't bother telling you because we don't want to make you greedy and look for it. Okay, so don't think that it's a haphazard at all. It's very ingenious training from the patriarchs, and that they designed these training methods that we simply are using. And as I started by saying, so when we listen to Master YongHua's instructions, they're reinforcing. I'm learning too. I'm learning how he handles certain people or certain situations. Because that's what it's supposed to do. So when I'm gone, I hope that my disciples will also be able to do that. Because the Dharma is supposed to be interpreted for you in each and every one of you, every one of us. Dharma is not designed for us to recite or keep on hearing over and over again. It's designed for you to listen, to have questions. Okay? And then the teacher, your instructor, must be able to explain to you how to address your problems. It's not meant for you just to listen over and over again, like or reminisce whatever. It's just not very good use of people's time. Okay, so that's why I'm learning from that, and that's why I'm making a point to train my disciples. And I'm giving them plenty of time. I still have another 10, 20 years to receive training so that they too can interpret the teachings. This is what we do. We listen to the sages' teachings and we interpret them to fit your situation. How does it apply to you? Okay, that's what the teaching is about. Instead of me coming up with something, a rah-rah thing and some baloney to impress you, instead we share with you the words of wisdom that will be transcendental, will be incredible vajra seeds in you that you can use down the road. Okay, whereas it's something I come up with, it's much inferior quality. All right. Any other question? Yes, sir. Number 3. Three. So another trick that we learned from down south is you start by saying, thank you, Master, thank you, so and so, so that you're checking that the mic is working.
Thank you, Master. It's really great to be a part of this Fo Chi. I was actually, my wife got dizzy when we were walking around reciting the Buddha's name.
Your wife was dizzy?
And I had to take her home. And when I came back, I was contemplating a riddle, and I was wondering what was my purpose here. And then I thought, if I'm not me, then who could be dizzy? That was actually Peter. That was my impression of Peter.
Yeah, that's supposed to be a joke. His wife got dizzy. Okay. So, is there a point here?
No, that was just an impression of Peter.
Impression of Peter. I see. Impressive. Yeah, pretty good. It actually does sound like Peter. It sounds like you. Yes, 4.
Thank you, Master. So we do have a point, because when earlier you said the Koreans, they chant better, and the other thing you said is you are teaching the American chant and the American Pure Land. So, and knowing rap music is your favorite music genre.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And, so Malcolm, here you're a talented impersonator and also against the rapper, and he can do one. Or maybe we can all learn from him. He can even train.
Oh, okay. We give you a few. You're leaving tonight? Tomorrow. Well, there's plenty of time. Write up a song tonight. All right. We give you time to do a rap song. Okay. Yeah. So we look forward to it. Okay. As I was saying, I wrecked my back a little bit about a week ago, exercising, and I was, for the first time, I trying to do a deadlift because I'm been preparing, and I exercised for 45 minutes. So I thought my body's warm, so I did the deadlift, and I figure I was able to do 100 pounds so far, 100 plus pounds so far. So I said, well, my body weight is so and so, so I still have room to go. So I went to 120. Okay, because I coming back from Korea, I weighed myself. I was 144 pounds. So I figure 120 is still, what's a big deal? So I did the thing for one set of 8 lifts. Was fine. Okay. I said, wow, this is cool. So I went for the second set. Okay. After resting, I made sure I rested for 2-3 minutes. No hurry. My first time. So what's the hurry? And then towards the third lift, bending over, I started having pain on my back. So I said, this is nothing compared to the leg pains in full lotus. So what's the big deal? So I kept going. I went to 8, and then each one was more painful than the one before. And so I said, I'm going to make the 8. Fine, I stop at 8. And then I rested another 5 minutes. And I said, let's do one more set. And I realized that, no, maybe I shouldn't. So I stopped. Luckily, I stopped. So for the whole week, I've been trying to recover, and actually got better and better every day. So today is simply sore. Okay, sore because something happened. So, but there's no pain whatsoever. So the point here is that when you cultivate, there are a lot of obstructions. There are lots of things that come at you to throw you off course. That's normal. Okay. In my case, it came internally. I chose to do something stupid. Okay. But typically, it's from outside where your karmic obstructions will come at you and inhibit your practice. Okay, for me is that in a way they're afraid of me, so they have to manipulate me to do something stupid myself. Okay, so that's how it is. That's the way it is with our world. All right. So disciples, I make it a point to remind you again that I'm showing you this process of listening to or investigating the sages' teachings, and that's your jobs, is to guide them to do that, get everyone to do that, because listening to the sages is incredible blessings. But make sure that you also have time for questions and to help interpret the teachings for each person at different levels. That's your responsibility. You don't simply just listen and then walk away. Okay? All right. Any other questions? Yes, 7.
谢谢 Master。我的 question 是关于这个今天的那个念阿弥陀佛的。就是我们经历了3次念阿弥陀佛，昨天下午、今天早上还有今天下午。昨天下午和今天早上，我觉得是比较正常的，就是在这个念的过程中，无论是走着念、坐着念还是默念，会有一些念头出来。但是跟我日常相比的话，我觉得这是正常的。但是到了今天下午之后的话，我会发现，有很多的念头不断的出来。有一个新的念头出来了之后的话，我告诉我自己，我知道它，然后我再回到这个 recitation 上面。但是它不停的会有这个新的念头出来。跟我日常相比，还有跟昨天和今天早上相比，感觉多了很多。所以我的问题是，这种现象的话，正常吗？就是如果再往下走的话，这种念头，会减少吗？Yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
Okay. 4, translation. 4.
Okay, translation. So translation, this person has the question is, I went through 3 sessions of the Buddha recitation, and I think, and he said, yesterday and this morning, it was normal. I had some thoughts, but it wasn't much. But this afternoon, I noticed I had more thoughts coming up, and it keeps on coming up, and even more than usual when I'm not doing the recitation. May I ask Master if this is normal? Will this becoming even more? Is this common? That's it.
Okay. 3 recitations, so meaning what? 3?
Yesterday afternoon, there was a 1 block session, and this morning, that's the Emitofuo recitation, the Buddha's recitation.
Okay, very good. Okay, that's normal. When you practice, it's never the same. And that's normal. If it's the same, then it's not a good thing, in my humble opinion. Okay, it's because it's not supposed to be the same, because you have different conditions, different karmic retributions, different, for example, the food you ate today is different from yesterday. Yesterday is taco, right? Today is something else. So the food affects your recitation too. Okay, and today also we have different sets of people as well. Today we also have different Weino. Okay, so conditions are constantly changing. Plus, you are 1 day older. Okay, and that changes too. Your mind changes too. So the changes are constant. That's life, and so when you have more thoughts, that's a good sign. Okay, don't worry about it. When you practice and you don't feel you're so happy and there's nothing happening and you're so blissful and so forth, that's when I worry. I like it. I prefer that you have problems and you struggle and so forth, because the more you struggle, the more problems you have, the quicker you progress. This is what the Chinese don't make it clear to you. Or the non-Buddhists take a different approach. The non-Buddhists or the worldly people, they stress you're feeling good, your mind being blank, and you being blissful. I stress differently. I stress difficulties, I stress struggle, I stress frustrations. Okay? And because when you are like that, you face a frustration, you face with things you don't understand, you cannot justify it. Why is your body shaking? Why is that person shaking? Okay? There's reason for that, but we're not teaching you. Okay? You don't need to understand. What you need right now is to follow the instructions and not quit, no matter what. That's your training right now. That's the foundation of Mahayana for the Great Assembly training, is that you follow what everyone else is doing, and no matter what happens, you don't quit. That's it. Okay? So the more you struggle, the better off you're going to be. Okay? In contrast, for example, when I first started learning, practicing, I didn't have any instruction like this at all. Okay? Someone, the Chinese just told us, just follow along. And since I was a novice, I was not allowed to ask questions. I have no right to ask questions. Okay? Because asking questions would embarrass my trainers. They didn't know how to answer them. Okay? So I basically was frustrated for 4 years. I said, what am I doing here? And if I shake, should I be worried? Huh? What's the matter with me? If I have my skin has a problem from practices, am I gonna die? Should I stop? Am I doing too much? Because they told me I sit too long. I'm not supposed to sit this long. They don't. Okay, so I said, so should I scale back? See, all sorts of questions arose. Okay, and very frustrating. You know. And that it has a certain effect on me. It made me decide that if I understand, if I make it, I will make sure that I will help you. Because those questions, once you have such questions, okay, they keep on arising regularly, okay, in addition to whatever problems you're having on the new days. So they keep on compounding, get worse and worse and worse and worse, okay? And but I didn't quit. That's why I was able to luckily break through. And so from personal experience, that's why I'm teaching you. I'm teaching you that I'm helping explain to you the process that is not clear to Master YongHua disciples. This is ingenious training, incredible training. And in particular in our Wei-Yang lineage, the more problems you have during this practice here, the better off you're going to be. Don't be afraid. Okay? All right, YouTube, go ahead.
From He Yun, thank you, Master. Your disciples' levels vary, including lay people. We are following the general guidance, but at some point we need personal instruction. My question is, can we ask Master for personal instructions? Otherwise, we would be, or do we wait until we're recognized by Master to receive Master's personal instructions?
Yes, you can ask questions anytime at all. You can ask questions from your co-cultivators. You can ask questions from to the Sanghas. You can ask questions to me. Okay, when you have questions, feel free to ask. You don't have to wait until the evening time, lecture time, Dharma talk time to ask. You can ask anytime. Okay, feel free to ask. And sometimes we don't want to answer your questions. Sometimes we do, but feel free to ask questions because that's how I learn too. I learn from helping you solve your problems.
She's asking if she can ask Master for personal instructions, or should she wait for Master to recognize her?
I just answered her. You should ask questions. You don't have to wait. I don't have to. I recognize everyone. Okay? Our job is to help everyone. You are important and you are special. It's something I like to remind you. What? Okay? Yeah. Anyone else? You can ask questions anytime, is what I stress. Okay? If I don't know the answer, I will tell you. All right. And then let's listen to some words of wisdom. How about that for change tonight? where they're trying to figure it out. I want you to know where I'm coming from. I'm not holding back at all. My purpose for doing this is to help all of you improve. Okay? I'm not holding back so that I'm better than you or I'm afraid that you're going to surpass me. I hope you surpass me at all. That actually is what's fascinating about the Wei-Yang training, I found out, is that we're not supposed to limit you at all. We're supposed to help you. We're supposed to teach you and counsel you so that you can be at your best and you can improve, continue to improve. And what I found in a Wei-Yang training, unlike, for example, Linji training, which I'm also belong to that lineage as well through my Vietnamese master. The Linji lineage, I feel I'm going to offend a lot of people in the world. I feel the Linji lineage is your progress will be limited by your teacher because of the way they train. It's going to be limited. However, in the Wei-Yang training, what I learned from looking at our founders, Wei Shan Master and Yang Shan Masters, and how I was trained by Master Shenhua, I realized that our Wei-Yang training is very special. We can surpass our teachers, if you will. Our teachers are not afraid that we will surpass them. Actually, they secretly hope that we will surpass them. Okay, that's what I do. I would love it if my disciples surpass me, and I'm not holding back at all. Okay, so that's why my purpose is, as long as I'm able to do this, and have the chance to do this, I hope that you will surpass me. Many of you will surpass me. Okay? All right, have you figured out? Okay, go ahead, play the Master Shenhua's instructions.
来到了啊，等你吃到安安好啊，也唔會唔夠食，也唔會生安安你吃幾多，佢哋也就來幾多。
And it will be just the right amount so that you get enough to eat and there will be no leftovers.
That sounds like Cantonese, huh? The one thing that's fascinating about food in the Pure Land is that there is no flavors that's lacking. Okay, here in our in the Sara world, we are vegetarian. Many of us are vegetarians. So when we eat vegetarian food, we actually are making sacrifices. We are sacrificing flavors. The non-vegetarian food has so many more flavors. More authentic flavors are fantastic. This, for example, in vegetarian stuff, where we cannot duplicate the flavors of Maine lobsters, for example. I tried, but I never was able to find something satisfactory as good as Maine lobster. Anyone? You don't even know what it is? They fly their lobsters. They send an airplane to you to keep it fresh. It's fantastic. Okay? Or game food, you know. You go in there, shoot a squirrel, and bring it back, and you prepare it. It's fantastic. I'm sorry. I'm not encouraging you to kill animals. I'm just trying to tell you that that meat is so flavorful. Let's face it. Huh? So when we are vegetarian here in our world, we are actually sacrificing flavors in order to be vegetarian. And hopefully it nurtures our mind of compassion. Yes? But in the Pure Land, there's no flavors lacking at all. That's what's so cool about it. I don't think much YongHua stresses enough about this because I'm crazy about food. I love food. How can you live without, good food? And yet, I had to be vegetarian. Maybe I switch to Tibetan Buddhism. How's that? Huh? Or I heard the Korean Sunims, they eat meat too. Yes, go ahead, 4.
Hello. Speaking of Pure Land eating meat, I've been wondering, do they kill to get it, or is it just pure? I don't think they can make things appear, but I mean, I've just been curious about that.
Okay, good question. What happens in the Pure Land is that, and that's why I look forward to go to the Pure Land, let me tell you. Because once you tasted Wagyu beef, for example, okay? Anyone? Okay? Yes, Wagyu beef. Or Korean, they have something else. Not cow beef. They have their own version of Wagyu, which they claim is better. This is a trick question, don't tell them. Saju Sunim, what is One Tek Sunim, what is the famous Korean beef now? Jungin Sunim. Speak up. I was told when I was in Korea, they said Wagyu beef. I said Wagyu beef. They said, oh, we have our own version.
LA 갈비가 있습니다.
We have LA 갈비.
We have what?
LA 갈비.
So anyway, so the point here is that it's so important. I feel this is my advantage over you, for us carnivores over you, pure vegetarians, that we know what those great things taste like. Okay? The sashimis, the eels, and so forth, where you are people who too young to remember those things. So when we go to the Pure Land, all we have to do is have the thought, I feel like eel today. Eel sushi. Anyone? Okay? And eel sushi will come. This is what he's trying to tell you. With the right amount. And it tastes exactly like the best eel, okay, that you can buy, you can find here in the Sahara world. It comes with your wish. All you have to do is, because if you know what you want, you say, I want to feel like eel sushi, or soba noodles, okay? Then the food will come in the Pure Land. Exactly the way it is here, even better, okay? And with the right amount, so that you eat, so that you're full, because over here, when we order stuff and we are full and there's still food left, when we eat, okay, it is not as flavorful as before. Remember that? So it's a form of torture, if you will. In the Pure Land, it's perfect. You eat and you enjoy the flavor until you can no longer enjoy it and stops. Isn't it beautiful? Yes, hang on. YouTube question.
For Min, when you help someone go to the Pure Land, are you helping one person at a time or can it be done in a group?
We all have our own limits, our own capacities. However, how big of a family do you have in mind? Okay, back there. Okay, give Cheng Chen the thing. She raised her hand first, and then you, and then the one in front of you.
Hey.
2.
Continue the food in the Pure Land.
Now she's interested. Do they have sandwiches? Absolutely.
Okay, so the first one is all of the whatever you want to eat is grow there physically, or whatever you just think about it. And then the other one is when you want whatever you want to eat, right? Coming. So you physically eat, or you use the mind to eat.
Okay, very rather detailed questions. Okay, are they grown there? No, they're not grown there. There's no need to grow food in the Pure Land. Remember, the ground is made of gold and lapis lazuli and silver and manao and so forth. How on earth are you going to grow vegetables there? Okay, no organic farming either. Okay, so no, they're not grown there. So when the food comes, is that imagination, or is that just you eat your mind, you actually physically eat? The answer is food is real. There's real New York steak there. And you actually I also have a steak knife and a fork. Okay? And you want A1 sauce? Absolutely. But why would you eat A1 sauce? Okay? If those of you who are using A1 sauce on your steak, cut it out. You're ruining the flavor. Come on. When you go Pure Land, cut it out. Because Amitabha Buddha is going to blame me for not training you properly. Joseph eats steak with A1 sauce. I'm the one who trained him. So actually it's physical, and you really enjoy it. It's nothing is lacking at all. It's not a mental thing. It's a physical pleasure. You really enjoy it. Life is very good. Trust me. Compared to here, rich people here, the way they eat, yuck. Nothing compared to what we eat in the Pure Land. Trust me. I can't wait. Yes, next, number 2. Yes.
A-di-đà Phật.
Yeah, go ahead.
A-di-đà Phật, thưa Thầy, nếu như vậy thì có phải mình attach to food in Pure Land không Thầy?
The attachment?
Yes.
Isn't that an attachment to flavors? Yeah. But it's okay. It won't get you in trouble. It's part of your blessings. You can enjoy it without being attached. Because you feel like you can eat, and then because it's a natural thing for you, you enjoy it, and then you are not attached to it either. When you're hungry, you feel like eating, it comes. You don't need to be attached. So you have these thoughts, for example, at low level you have these thoughts. You say, I remember how it's like to eat Neapolitan pizza, and it comes. Okay, so you're lacking nothing at all in the Pure Land. I went to Cheongju to do the Fochi, and I have craving for hamburgers. I went around, drove around there at 10 to 11 o'clock at night. Couldn't find any hamburgers. It's terrible. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Con have another question là những người mà thầy gửi đi Pure Land, do they ever want to go to another realm instead of Amitabha Buddha land?
Not so far.
Thank you, thầy.
Okay, number 4.
And I also have 2 questions. One is, I suppose there's no sexual gratification in Pure Land, right? But if there's food, if we keep the food there, what about the other desires? Or is the food the only sort of desire that, like, not desire, but like why there's food, but probably no sex?
There is no sexual desires in the Pure Land.
The desire too, right?
Yeah, food is desire,
Why-
but there's
why
no
we have-
sexual desire. It's different.
It's different?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just part of your blessings. Part of the attraction of the Pure Land is that they have great food. And once you go there, you go to the Pure Land. Why would you want to go anywhere else? Okay, you can have any kind of flavors, anything you like to eat. If you're into food.
So, but the sexual desire is not a blessing. It's not doing anything good. So that's why there's no that.
It's beyond my understanding, and the Buddha decided to indulge you in food. Okay? That's your blessings. And so far, it doesn't seem to have any adverse effects on the cultivation at all. So for us, it looks like we can go there and indulge in our desires here because we love to indulge in food here. So it's one of the attractions for us, if you will. And you can look at it from that perspective. Okay? That here, for us, food is an important part of our culture. Yes? Part of enjoyment of life. Okay? And so when we go there, we're not going to miss that at all. If you come from a different world, they have different sorts of interests, attachments. I would not be surprised they also can find such attachments fulfilled as well. And that's why the Pure Land is so attractive to so many people throughout the entire universe. They all want to go there because it's one of the best places. And you come and go as you please. Okay? Yes.
Someone was asking the question about, do you help one person go to Pure Land at a time, or a group, or can it be a group? I just remember seeing those pictures where there's this really big boat with Amitabha.
Noah's Ark. I refer to Noah's Ark.
Right. So those boats seem to be carrying a lot of people at the time.
If Noah can carry a lot of living beings, we can too. We're not going to be outdone by the Catholics, I assure you. Okay, rest assured. Yes, Wei Mao.
Master, so in the Pure Land, do we have like a Heidi Lao hot pot and dancing noodles so we can get together and eat?
Yes. Absolutely. All right. Another question. Conk.
Master, not just food. Then in Pure Land, then can we do even smoking and drug too?
Smoking and what? Drugs?
Drugs too. And I have one more question. I've never done it before. So if I want to experience that in Pure Land, then should I try that before I go to Pure Land?
I wouldn't advise it because you tried drugs and smoking, you're breaking precepts. Okay? I hope you're a better person than that. And some of the things you don't need to try everything in life. Some drugs and smoking is really not a big of a deal. It's a form of self-poisoning, so it's not supposed to be good. In fact, my experience has been that drinking and smoking and drugs and so forth, they are nothing. They pale in comparison to cultivation, to entering samadhi, including sex, okay, including food. So if you practice here in the Saha world and you are continue to improve to higher and higher levels of samadhis, all those sensual pleasures really are nothing at all. Nothing. Go ahead, you two.
2 questions. The first one is from Min. In the Pure Land, is there desire to travel the universe? If yes, can the cultivators travel the universe?
Yes. In the Pure Land, answer to your first question, in the Pure Land, you can travel anywhere at all in the entire universe. And that's because of Amitabha Buddha's vow power. He says, I want you to know about all the other Pure Lands so that you can go and see them. In particular, not only to see the Pure Land, but also I want you to go and make offerings to the Buddhas. In all the other Buddha lands, not just Pure Lands, impure lands too. You can go to every single Buddha land in the entire universe so that you're able to offer flowers, to offer fruits to the Buddhas there, to create affinities with them. So you get to travel extensively. Second question.
From Bosco, do we need to completely liao shengsi in order to be reborn in the Pure Land?
No, you don't. However, first of all, the Pure Land is designed to end your suffering. When you go to the Pure Land, you never suffer again. Okay? So that's very attractive for a lot of us who experience great suffering and can't seem to end our suffering. And therefore, it's very, very attractive for us, especially in the Saha world. In order for you to end your suffering, you have to cultivate. And not everyone in the Saha world can cultivate. Okay? In particular, the people not only who are alive, but also the people who are dead already. How are they going to cultivate without instructions? How are they going to cultivate without the proper environment? How are they going to cultivate without the support, without the help? You don't realize that cultivation is very, very extensive. It's very complicated. Okay. Imagine all the success stories you hear of people in this world, in our Saha world, cultivation success stories requires even more support, more to make it happen, a lot more, if you will. Way, way more. Okay? So you have to understand that for most of us, we will not be able to end our suffering. And that's why why the Western Bliss Pure Land Dharma door is presented to us here in this higher world, because the fact of the matter is most of us will not be able to end our birth and death. Meaning that by the time we die, okay, we will continue to revolve in the wheel and get another body. And most likely, the next body will be worse than the one we have right now. For the overwhelming majority of the people, after they die, they will fall. Okay, so that's why it's perfect for that. So you don't need to end birth and death. However, but if you're able to end birth and death, then your rebirth rate will be far higher in the Pure Land than otherwise. If you haven't ended birth and death, then your rebirth rate is a little bit lower. Whereas if you cultivate and are able to end birth and death, then you end up in a better quarters, okay, of the Pure Land. You'll be better off. All right, any other questions? I see that Kong wants to ask a question. Go ahead, Kong.
네. 정토에 대한 믿음이 없는 사람도 정토에 태어날 수 있는 기회가 있습니까?
If people don't have faith in Pure Land, can they also reborn in Pure Land?
I really struggle with the sound level. Can you crank it up just one more to the next level, please?
If people don't have faith in Pure Land, can they reborn in Pure Land?
Good question. If people have no faith in the Pure Land, can they be reborn in the Pure Land? Can they? With help? Is that the answer? What kind of help? Be specific. You don't know what you're talking about. Go ahead, Go ahead.
If Master can help with accrue enough blessings, Pure Land blessings.
Okay. Well, the two things here that are involved, that see, the more you ask questions, the questions, the answers are more difficult to come up with. But that's a good question. What about the people who don't have faith? Can they be reborn in the Pure Land? It's a very, very good question. For example, I say the Catholics who don't have faith. One Catholic comes in mind, for example. Okay, and so the two things here. If you don't have faith in the Pure Land, you probably won't be able to be born in the Pure Land. Why is that? It's because when you are about to be reborn, Amitabha Buddha will bring a lotus days over, and you need to step on it. If you don't step on it, you will not go to the Pure Land. So it's your choice. So if you don't have faith, you will not. You will choose not to go. Especially the people who don't know. How would they know that going to the Pure Land is a good place? Think about it. They've never been there. In entire life, most likely, especially like Catholics, they badmouth Pure Lands. Bad-mouthed Buddhas, bad-mouthed Buddhists. I have a friend, high school friend, who I stay in touch with, and I occasionally tell him a little bit. He's a quasi-pastor at some Christian denomination near his house in here in Northern California, nice area. He's retired, and he's pretty adamant about his faith. He says so he says, for example, my Wei Mountain temple is given to him by his God. It's okay. It's not quite untrue. He doesn't know a God. He got on his knees and gave it to me. Otherwise, I wouldn't take it. So it's true. It's partially true. But the point here is that there's some people who are very adamant about their faith, and therefore, how can we convince them? They're not going to buy into it. They say, my God is better than yours. Okay, so that's a problem with these people. A lot more going on, you think. So if they don't have faith, so then they will not go to the Pure Land because they need to decide to hop on the airplane, if you will. It's their choice. So part of the work, you don't realize it, is to convince them to go. It doesn't happen automatically, especially for the people who don't know or who are atheists, agnostic, who are Catholic, and so forth. They don't believe in that until after they die. That's when they get in trouble. That's when it's a lot easier to convince them after they're dead. So what we do after people die, especially the people who have no faith, if you have faith right now, you are in conch, the two of you right there clearly have faith. That's why you keep on listening to my silly talk every night during this Fochi here. You have faith. It's not a problem for you. Okay, but that's fundamentally has happened. You must decide yourself to step on the lotus days, okay? Because no one can force you. Amitabha Buddha would never force you. So our work, the work here in our world, believe it or not, is to convince you that you should go. Okay? All kinds of people, whether they have faith or not, we need to come up with a way to convince them to go. Okay? And that's right there is a hidden process. Think about it. It takes work. It's not like the Buddhists like you who say, I've been learning about the Pure Land, I want to go there. Definitely, food is much better there, and it's for free. My God. You can't lose, okay? But what about the non-Buddhists? How can we help them? And if the Pure Land Dharma door is so universally beneficial for everyone, it must have the hooks and the processes to help the non-believers as well. Agree? Otherwise, it cannot be called a great Dharma door. You see, the Pure Land Dharma door, I'm proud to tell you, we're able to help all sorts of people, especially non-believers. You have ways. Okay, so it's a lot more work than you think. Is that clear? Because we don't force people. Whatever we do after you die, okay, has to somehow convince you to go if you don't believe. You have to convince you. So far, so good? So that's the first part, that the left home people don't talk about it because they don't understand how difficult it is. It's very difficult to convince you to go. Okay? It takes work. It's not automatic, because there's some hardcore people who says, I don't believe in Buddha. Buddha are full of crap. What are you going to do? That's what they really believe. Okay? They say, Buddha, how much you worth? I pay for it. Okay? How much you want? Let me pay for it. That's the attitude. What are you going to do? Or some hotshot professor said, I don't believe you. What are the facts? Show me something. Okay. So such people, what can we do to convince them? And I am proud to tell you that we have ways to convince them. Otherwise, we'll be wasting our time. Spreading the words to the Catholics, spreading the words to the academians, spreading the words to non-believers, spreading the words to drug addicts, spreading the words to all sorts of people. He says, this is for you. When you die, we can help you. Because it's a fact. We can help you. And we'll find a way to convince you. And so far, has worked very well. Very, very well. Okay? So that's a process that's not explained to you, okay? Because the people who teach Pure Land Dharma Door do not understand how difficult it is to save the non-believers, the troublemakers, the evil people, whose purpose in this life is to kill others, to get what they want. Can you think of one person right now? Or before, I tell you one more person, Osama bin Laden. He's so angry at us, he wants to kill us all. Westerners. He's in the Pure Land right now. Impressed? This is a person who's not Buddhist, he's a devout Muslim. He's in the Pure Land right now because he chose to go. Is that clear? After you die, there's a lot of things going on that we use, that we take advantage and we utilize and deploy to help you. It's a lot more work than you think. So far, so good? A lot more going on behind the scenes than you think. Okay. And so that has happened. And if you think, you believe that, then you have a problem. You have a problem. Why should we help you? Have you thought about it? If that's the case, why should we bother with you? So many people who need our help. Why should we bother you? Someone asked me about Noah's Ark and what is the group rate or how big of an airplane you have or how big of a packable or cruise ship you have. It's not the size. It's about why should we help you. Have you thought about it? Why should we? You were able to convince you. You were able to convince your mother, convince your ancestors. You convince a killer, okay, to go to the Pure Land. Why should we? Why should we? There's plenty of people. No one tells you about that, right? You say, oh, we help you with Pure Land. That's baloney. We're very selective. Why should we help you? There's so many people who need to help. And there's only so much space on the ark. Your tank can go so far. Why should we help you? Go ahead, Mr. Rapp. 7.
Master, if they don't step on the flower, on the lotus flower, is there's still other options, like send them to heaven? Or because I bought a Rebirth thing from a Christian friend, and he might choose no for the lotus thing. So that's my question.
Yeah, of course, that's what we do. What we don't tell you because it's to simplify things for you. But I'm trying to reveal. I just revealed to you. It's a lot more work. A lot more going on. You think it's not automatic. It takes work. For someone who's never been exposed to that process, who just lived their entire lives doing the exact opposite of cultivation, doing all the evil things and indulging themselves, okay? It's very hard to change their mind, help them change their mind. It's not that simple. Think about it. Just look at yourself. You like someone, is it easy to change your mind into marrying you or dating you? It's virtually impossible. And just a simple thing, go on a date. Hell no, hell has to freeze before that happened. Imagine now we're talking about something much, much bigger, like going to the Pure Land. It's much more involved than you think. Okay? Okay, Way Mountain. No Way Mountain.
The first one is from He Yun. In the Pure Land, what language do the people use to communicate? That language, can you use it to communicate at other Buddha lands?
Yes, very easy. Vietnamese. Next question.
From Addison, Brazil. If a person has made a vow to not attain Buddhahood until the beings of the 6 migrations have crossed over to the other shore, can they complete this vow in the Pure Land, or should they continue to be reborn in the 6 migrations until this vow is completed?
They should go to the Pure Land. They will realize the vows a lot quicker than here. Okay? Next question.
From WMT Daniel. In Buddhism, is there only Hinayana and Mahayana, or are there other types of Buddhism?
There's also Christianity. Next. Are we done?
We're done.
We're done. Okay, yes, 7.
似乎我们是鼓励每一个人都能够有信心和愿望去西方极乐净土。那假设说我很有信心，也很有愿望想去，那同时我还希望我能够在今生的话自己选择时间，然后能够坐在禅坐中去西方净土，这是很好的愿望吗？然后这个愿望，如果这个愿望是好愿望的话，它需要是很困难的吗？
Translation. So, talking about going to Pure Land, can I just learn some time meditation before I go to Pure Land? Is this a very good wish, or is it very difficult to succeed? And maybe my translation is off because I'm in so much pain. Oh, can I pick the time? This question asked. Can I just have the choice of decide when and to go to Pure Land?
Do we have a choice of when to die?
I mean, whether we can have the faith to, like, we choose the time to die and sit in the meditation to die.
Sometimes you can't choose. Sometimes death comes without any warning, without any premonition. So, but in general, excuse me. In general, you should cultivate. Chan is a good form of cultivation. Also, there are other forms of cultivations too, where you should cultivate. We encourage you to do that, so that for the purpose of improving your rebirth grade. The Pure Land people, they only talk to you, the teachers in Asia, they only teach you about desperation. They teach you, by all means, go to the Pure Land. That's the best place for you. Okay? That's the only thing that makes sense to you. I don't subscribe to that. I feel that you go to the Pure Land with a good grade. Okay? Don't be so desperate. Because if you're that desperate, Amitabha Buddha might say, really? Am I that desperate for people like you? Desperate people like you? And this is why it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. They're desperate because they can't get there. You see that? That's a problem. I have a problem with the Asian style of practice in the Pure Land. This is like, I'm so desperate to go. There's no need for that. Okay? You should go at the end of your life. Whenever it ends, you should go. And therefore, you should, if that's what you wish, then you should be prepared to go. Make all the preparations for you to go. But being desperate is not a good way to prepare. That's my attitude. Okay? Just like when I accept disciples, when they're too desperate, I think twice. Okay? So you shouldn't be desperate, and you should be, you should wish to go. I highly recommend you go. And before you go, I wish that you will practice hard so that your rebirth rate will be high up there. We have our standards in our quarters in the Pure Land. We help people with good potential. They go there with good grade, or they go there and they are ready to accept, to take advantage of the fantastic teaching skills of Amitabha Buddha. Okay? So by all means, apply yourself, but never lose sight of that. Improve, improve, improve. Okay? And you improve, especially in our environment, because you have problems. When you have no problems, that's when you die and you don't improve. From my perspective, from my experience. All right, anyone else? At least tonight, we squeezed in one slide from Master YongHua. That's teach me right for not opening my mouth and say, we learn from the sage's teachings. And I end up spilling nonsense to you. All right, anyone else? I have a few more questions, a few more minutes. Okay, last chances. Go ahead, 4.
Questions for Jen, because she wants to sit longer, so we have to ask questions.
Okay.
Recently it's getting really popular to use psychedelics to help mental illness. I think a lot of famous people are vouching for that, and it seems like they're vouching for that because there are examples where people, they cannot get help through other methods, like other medical methods. So this using psychedelics in a controlled way seems to be relieve their suffering. Like there are examples, like a lot of examples of like PTSD people, or people just cannot be helped by antidepressant drugs. So is this this trend just stupid, or are they actually getting helped?
We don't need to comment about that, because historically the medical profession needs to experiment. And even academians, for example, I remember reading something a long time ago, Harvard professors are trying drugs or psychedelics to whatever they were doing long time ago. in 1960s, and U.S. government jumped in the bandwagon as well, and all sorts of things. People do things in order to justify their existence. So who are we to judge them, right or wrong? Okay, whatever we say, whatever we think, will not affect them at all. So I withhold my judgment or make comments about them. From a Buddhist perspective, we avoid to create offenses. To give someone drugs is to create offenses. And the kind of offenses that will render you stupid and difficult to teach later. I would not do that. However, there's some professionals who feel that they must engage in those things for the sake of exploration, sake of furthering human understanding, human knowledge. They feel free to do whatever they wish to do. But we Buddhists, I prefer not to do that, okay, personally. But they should do whatever they want. It doesn't bother me at all, okay? Whether it works or not, they'll find out themselves.
It's actually pushed by the people, not necessarily by the academics, but the people who tried it and they feel it's helpful. So I think they're coming from the point of trying to help and relieve suffering, but they don't have enough wisdom to see.
Sure, it helps, sure. But remember, there's some prices to pay. Are you willing to pay for it? I'm not willing to pay for it. Okay, go ahead, Jewel Kong.
This is a question from the lady who's sitting on the chair right now in Kong.
Yes.
Master said that you convince people to go to Pure Land. How do you convince people who already are dead? Or it means you convince people to go to Pure Land before they die?
No, after they die. It's much easier to convince them after they die. What happens is that right now, when they're still alive, it's so difficult to convince them because they're stuck in their ways. For example, they're richer, they're smarter, they're happier, they're much better off right now. So to tell them about something like the Pure Land, they say nonsense. Okay, but after they die, all their offenses they created in this life got them into big trouble. And that's why they're a lot more receptive to help. Okay, to getting help. In particular, it comes to mind one particular example where my late disciple, who was a dentist, who had a dentist professor from USC. USC amazingly has a good dental school, believe it or not, which for us is a surprise. So the guy is a real intellectual and he's a very good teacher, and that's why when he died under bad circumstances, my disciple, dentist, came to me and said, "You have to help me, help my teacher. I owe him." It's a hard case because he's an atheist. He doesn't believe in anything. He's total intellectual. He's so smart. Okay, he can figure out anything in his life. So I said, okay, I'll try. Because right there is the faith we're talking about. The faith that someone must have faith. Remember the two things. One thing is we need to convince them to go on the lotus days. The other thing is that you need to convince me I should help. Okay? And therefore your faith matters. If you don't have adequate faith, I'm not convinced, I tend not to help. Recently, people did try to convince me to help, but I refused. Anyway. So right there, you see, in the faith, you have faith on both sides. Faith in the person, the particular individual who need to step on the lotus days. We need to help them develop the faith. Okay. Number two, you also must have faith in us helping you, believe it or not. So, for example, you go to a temple and you have a bad attitude. Don't be surprised if we don't help you at all. Okay, because there's a lot more involved, a lot more difficult than you think. And we don't want to waste our energy in our blessings. Every time we help one person, the tank has a little bit less gas. Can you see that? There are plenty of people who deserve to be helped. Why should we help when we have so many choices? Okay, so that disciple of mine convinced me that that his professor had to go to the Pure Land, and I agreed, because one of the reasons that I never dealt with such a idiot before. So my first case, I said, wow, an intellectual, Mr. Hotshot. So took me about 5 weeks, but he finally was convinced. Well, he went to the Pure Land. So I was done. I forgot about it. And a month later, 5-6 weeks later, my disciple came back and said, oh, I have a chance to talk to his daughter, who was also another hotshot dentist. Okay, and also a PhD, and she said she dreamt of her father, who came back, and to tell her that in her dream, appeared in her dream and said, I'm pretty happy, I'm pretty well to do right now, and don't you worry about me. They're very attached to each other, apparently, because the hot professor, whoever he was really adored his daughter. So that's the only person he related to. So he came back to tell her that don't worry about me, I'm doing fine, okay. And then he told his daughter, and the daughter told my disciple, he said, but you know what? I can't stay here very long. I have to go back and cultivate. He didn't tell her what he was. He said, I have to go back. I can't stick around here. I'm not supposed to stick around here too long, okay? Because I have to cultivate now. The guy, from a guy who never thought much about religion, let alone cultivation, he said, now I must cultivate. Can you imagine? So he went right back. That's a proof. All right. So the answer to the question about what do I need to do, it's a lot. Each case is different, and I get a lot of help too, as a matter of fact. It's not a one-person thing. The Pure Land Dharma Door is a big team, okay, where we get a lot of help. All right, go ahead, YouTube.
2 more questions. The first one is from Min. I remember Master said the person who requests for the pre-49 days plaque can ask to make sure the loved ones go to the Pure Land. Is this correct? Basically, the family members or friends make the decision for the confused person.
Yeah, we hope that's the case. There's no guarantee. We hope that it should work. Okay. All right. Other question.
The next question is from Addison, Brazil. When I read mantras or lines of a sutra, bad thoughts undermine my sincerity, enter my mind. Is this me, Mara, trying to distract me? If it's me, should I ignore it? Is that non-cognition?
It's normal for you to have those called false thoughts. It's okay. Keep at it. Don't worry. don't quit. Keep trying harder, and eventually you probably want to go to places like ours, way places, to get better training to deal with those issues. Okay? Conk, go ahead.
So, Master, so why do you help people to go to Pure Land?
Because they have nothing else to do. Some girls grow up hoping to be married. Some other girls hope to be a baby in a sangha. For me, I grew up wanting to be rich and powerful, and I settled with helping people go to the Pure Land. Because I couldn't become rich and powerful. So for me, it's like a second choice of a career because I am a failure. I hope it helps. It's a sort of like second career for me, okay? Since I couldn't be successful and be a great person, I chose to become a beggar, to go the opposite direction. Okay, we stop here tonight. Thank you all. Great transference. Seriously. Swear to God.